My name is Mark McGrain. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to Roundtable. This month's topic changed a little bit. I had something else in mind, and it just kind of dawned on me about this is an important topic for this time of year. Is the new families and new scouts? We all see them, but what are we doing about them? And they come in, and we want them to be there. We want them to stay. We want them to feel welcome. And how do we go about doing that? Sometimes we think so much about our program, we're not thinking about it from the outsider perspective and how they see our unit. So I wanted to take some time to talk about that tonight, about how we can make our own units more welcoming. I know I've been a part of a unit that people have come and they're gone within a few weeks, and never to be seen again, or maybe they're for a month or two. And why do they end up leaving? So this is one of those that I would really, really like your input on this one. So even if you want to type it, or you want to put like a hand up for input, I would love to hear it, because I really do want everybody, what you do in your unit as we're talking about the different topics. So how do we make this scout feel welcome? So that's really important. And it's not really a matter of what program level. There might be a few tweaks between the older scout and the Cub Scout, but in the end, making a scout feel welcome is still making a scout feel welcome. So, one of these things to start looking at is, depending on your program level, the den chiefs, right? Does your den have a den chief? Does your pack have a den chief? That's somebody who, works with the scoutmaster, right? Scoutmaster has to prove somebody to be a den chief. The Cub Master slash Den Chief does an or Den Chief, Den Leader does an interview and hires them, and they work with the den that they're assigned to. Now, a Den Chief, one of their jobs is to welcome the new scouts and make sure they're feeling a welcome and part of the program and understanding what's going on. Same thing. Do you have an assistant Den Leader who's helping out with that? Do you have kind of harder to say an older scout here, except for a den chief, but maybe part of the AOLs or the Weeblos or Weeblos 2, whatever you may call it. Maybe part of their thing is making the new scouts in your program feel welcome, especially at pack meetings where it's very easy to feel overwhelmed as a new scout, that first pack meeting you get to. Um, Same thing when we're looking at the troops. Um, you know, do you have those den chiefs who crossed over, right? A lot of us in troops, the new scouts are crossover scouts. So hopefully you had a den chief that you've been involved with a pack, and that den chief, you know, crossed over with them and is making them feel welcome as well, because it's a familiar face. If not that, does your troop make use of troop guides? Troop guides can be awesome and great for helping teach scout skills, but also really helping out that new scout. Do they understand what's going on? Who's introducing them to the other scouts? Who's making sure that the question they may not want to ask the other kids because they'll feel foolish, that the troop guide is there to help answer those questions for them, that's their friend that they can go to all the time. Excuse me. The other part of that is, how does your troop break up the new scouts in the den? It's easy, right? They come in, and based on if your pack is set up on age or if your pack is set up on grade, that's how they're assigned. Lions, tigers, wolf, bears, weeblos, oh my. In scouts or scouts BSA, how do you organize your patrols? Or do you use the new scout patrol and put all of your new scouts there with hopefully a ASM assigned to them, or assistant scoutmaster? Do you assign a troop guide to them? Do you break up the patrols, that when the new scouts come in, they're all in, everybody's intermixed? You got some experience and some new scouts. There's no right answer to this. It's the answer that works for your unit. The most important thing is that the scouts feel welcome and that they feel involved, and they don't feel like they're holding people back or they're being left behind in the same aspect. So it's really important for things like that. Um, the other thing, and this falls for um, both the youth and the adults as we join the families, um, is our ASM and our SPL. They're going to be going to the PLC, but after that, we got to go take the ITLST, because it's got to be reported at the next committee meeting. Yeah, wait, what? we got to watch the use of our acronyms. Not everyone knows that an ASM is an assistant scoutmaster. They don't know that the PLC is the patrol leaders council meeting. Y- what's a committee? What's a committee meeting? We got to watch our phrasing and help everyone understand what we're talking about. And this falls for both our scouts and our adults. We don't want people to feel excluded because they don't get it. That's just like, the inside jokes. There may be a running gag going on in your unit, and as long as it's scout friendly, that's fine. But who's going to let the scouts and their family know what it is so they can partake in the fun as well? We don't want them to feel left out because they don't get the joke. And again, as long as it's a scout friendly joke, right? So again, we want to do everything we can to make those scouts feel welcome and feel involved and feel a part of your unit. It's when they don't is when they start leaving us. So just gonna kind of give it a minute here. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to throw in about how they go about making the new scouts, whether it's Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, venturing, how they make the new youth feel welcome and involved in their unit? Next, we're going to the family. So, just to give you a heads up. Nobody.
Mark,
So I have trouble finding the unmute button. So the one that we've started to do, Mark, is actually very simple, and that's to ask the scouts and the parents if they feel welcome. One way to check if someone's feeling welcome is to ask them. It's not very complicated. The key thing is if you ask that question frequently enough, you will have a scout say no. You will have a parent say, no, actually, I feel left out. In fact, I'm surprised that you've only just noticed I've been sat in the corner here. My kid doesn't know what they're doing. So I'd encourage everybody to do the simple thing. Just ask the question, how do you feel? Do you feel welcome?
Great. Lisa, was that
Mark,
you?
Mark, this is Lisa. So one of the things that we do is we go around the room and introduce ourselves to the new scouts so that they even know who the adults are that are working with them, and the parent is normally in the room too, so that they can see who each person is as well.
Great. Anybody else have anything they'd like to offer as a suggestion of something that they do in their unit?
Hey, Mark, this is Amara.
Hi.
In our unit, we usually try to do something silly when we're introducing ourselves. Like I usually ask what their favorite food is, and that usually, gets people giggling a little bit because inevitably somebody will name something obscure. So that's always a fun one.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, so listen, as we move on, when we get to the very end, we'll have the wrap up. If you think of something now, or once I moved on, just jot yourself a note and bring it back up at the end, because I'm going to ask again for anybody who's thought of anything else, because we really, and I've been in this program my entire life. My kids are in this program. My wife's in the program. I really do love this program, and I feel just absolutely terrible when somebody leaves because they didn't feel involved enough. So I really want to take everybody's best ideas and help with this. So you have them. Don't think that you can't offer it up again in a little bit.
Hey, Mark, it's
Yeah.
Jess. What I do with my group this year is we always give them popcorn and they get to make a tie-dye shirt. And I picked blue and yellow so they can have similar shirts and still be part of the group.
That's awesome.
And they always love the popcorn.
Who doesn't like popcorn? Great. Okay, thank you. So the families. So, it's important to have the scout feel welcome. It's really important to make the family feel welcome and involved. So some of the things that we can look at for doing that is when they're first coming in. There's the whole thing about recruitment. So I'm not really talking about your unit open house, or how we talk them to join into our troop. We're talking about they sign the paper applications here, and we want to give them the information about that. So one of the things that we can do is a welcome packet. So something that would be in that welcome packet, and this could just be a simple folder, would be a list of contacts. Who is the committee chair, who's the scout master, who's the cub master, who's the den leader. Do you have a new member coordinator? And we'll talk about the new member coordinator after this. But who's that person? Who's the treasurer? Some of the key contact information they'd want to know. You know, Part of that is, how does your unit communicate with each other? Do you use, now I'm a big fan of Scoutbook. You've all heard me say this before. Scoutbook has a lot of information into it and a lot of tools. So do you use Scoutbook as your calendar for the unit? Do you ask people to RSVP or reserve that they're going on an event? Do you use Scoutbook as your email tool to go back and forth on things? Do you have a Facebook Messenger for um, the group as a whole, right? All monitored, no one-on-one communication, cybersecurity, cyber youth protection. But do you use Messenger um, or a chat group? I mean, what do you use to communicate? And do you put that information in there? Does your unit have bylaws? Do you include a copy? Do you have maybe a code of conduct? Have a copy. Um, you maybe have something regarding your fundraising and how fundraising works and division. And what I mean by that, and I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm not saying right, wrong, your unit, your kind of decisions, but let's say popcorn that when you guys do booths, right? The troop, let's just say troop does a booth, they have their popcorn, and the scouts either maybe on your unit, it's how much popcorn is sold by the scouts working that, then they get their percentage there. Maybe your unit takes all of the booths, kind of figure out all of the hours that were worked, how much popcorn was sold over all of that, and kind of divide it out to basically an hourly rate. Um, Maybe that's how your popcorn booths work. Um, and I'm just using popcorn as an example, but explain how your fundraising works. Does your unit use scout accounts? Explain how that works. Just like, how do they get the money back? As far as purchasing things at the scout store, down at our main office, scout stuff, you know, give them something that they understand how it works. Do they need to bring in a receipt? Who does the receipt go to? The health forms. You want to make sure you include it right away to give it to them because, if hopefully you're doing activities every month, whether it's hikes, campouts, going someplace and seeing it, go do it activity, whatever it may be, but you need the health form right away, at least the AB form, which the parents can make out, but not if they don't have it. And you don't really want to rely on saying, oh, here's the link, go download it. Give them the paperwork. Your schedule. Now, again, big fan of Scoutbook, and that having a calendar, but it can take a little bit for them to get comfortable with it. Not everybody's comfortable with the computer. It is a new program to them. They've never been on it. They're not as experienced as some of you may be. Give them at least a copy of your calendar for the next couple of months. And it can have this is our troop meetings, always this date, this time, this place. Here are the activities that are coming up. Make sure that they have a parent talent survey, right? You don't know what that family can offer your unit if you don't ask. And conversation is good, and so is this parent talent survey. If you haven't used it, please go look it up, download it, and put it on. Put it as part of your welcome packet. These are the things that ask. Hey, they just happen to have a truck that can tow our trailer, or they've got a larger van, or hey, this person's a first aid instructor, or this person does gaming. You get to learn the skill sets that are out there that you can slowly start working them more and more into your program. And maybe you find something that works out as a merit badge counselor, and then you can also have that conversation with them, especially at the troop level. If they'd be interested in becoming a merit badge counselor. Now, that's a district position, but still, you need merit badge counselors for your scouts. And then, yeah, again, we talked about the acronyms and being careful. So you could even include a little cheat sheet on acronyms that go on in your unit or that people tend to use, because it is kind of hard to break ourselves of that, though we really, really should. We're terrible with acronyms. So those are kind of the things that I think are good for making the parents and the families feel welcome into our program. So just my thoughts on that one. I'd love to hear what you do at your unit level to make the families parents, guardians feel welcome and involved, and maybe how, think about how you got slowly, brought into the position that you're in now and how they slowly worked you into that position. and so there, I see the question. The question is there an acronym cheat sheet available? Probably. I can honestly say I did not go on Google and take a look. But there probably is, because Google seems to have everything. So I would just try a Google search of scouting scouting acronyms and see what comes up. And I'll tell you what, if you can't find anything and you're confused, let me know and we'll type one up. Oh, look, Peter just found one. So in the chat room, if you're not there already, one of our leaders have just put up a link to where you can get the abbreviations. It is actually off the national website, so that you can download and include. So see, Google has everything. But how does one connect to parent to be a merit badge counselor? Before it was a link to them. Oh, okay. So merit badge counselors, while we're thinking of other things here. So if you have an adult, let's pick on me. So I'm an instructor with for first aid and CPR and stuff like that. So I might work out to be a good first aid merit badge counselor, maybe. So you see that on my parent talent survey. So maybe start having that conversation, from the troop level. What a merit badge counselor is. You kind of have an idea what the requirements might be. So you could start talking to that person about, are they interested? And then if they say, well, yeah, I think I'd like to learn a little bit more, and talk to them. So in your district, the person you want to put them in contact with is the district advancement chair. Every district has one. And if for some reason you can't figure out who it is, you can always talk to your district professional, your district chair, your district commissioner, if you have one, or you can always go to the council advancement chair and they can point you in the right direction of who that person would be. And we'll work it out from there. And if you have a really hard time of finding the right person, you don't know who to contact for something, always please reach out to me, whether it's at a roundtable or another, or direct email or a text or a phone call. If you're looking to contact somebody, you just don't know who somebody is. So I want the advancement chair for my district or somebody from merit badge. I just don't know who goes the name attached to that. Give me a call, shoot me an email or a text, and I'll be happy to. If I don't know the name, I'll be happy to put you in contact with the right person. So with a merit badge counselor, what the advancement chair is going to do is they're going to give them an adult application. They're also going to give them a merit badge counselor application. The merit badge counselor application is really, I want to teach this merit badge, and this is my skill set. All of that paperwork goes back to the advancement chair. It doesn't go to your unit at all, because this is a district registered position that doesn't have a fee associated with it. And they will take care of giving us that. The merit badge the advancement chair, once they feel that the person meets their criteria, then they process their application. They get them added to Scout Book. What happens with that is, as soon as they are approved as a merit badge counselor, so registration is cleared, not that the district advancement chair says, yep, Mark McGrain can be a first aid merit badge counselor. That's great. But my registration has to clear, which means I've had my criminal background check. I've taken my youth protection. Then I will show up on the district rosters as a merit badge counselor. I will show up in Scout Book as a merit badge counselor. And then, of course, the Scoutmaster and assistant Scoutmasters can search the merit badge counselor list to assign out merit badge counselors. And we, again, we'll do a class on that at another time, but we, if we go to our resources page on our council website under Commissioner Roundtable, you'll find some previous videos on how to use the merit badge counselor list and connect to a merit badge counselor. So great question. Anybody have anything they like to offer about how they make families feel welcome in their program? Nothing. I was that comprehensive in how to make a family feel welcome. I got all the points. It kind of makes me feel good that I got all the points, but Huh. All right. Well, we will move on to our next one. If you think of something about, hey, now that he says that, he didn't talk about this. Let's move on to our next one. So, new member coordinator. This is a registered position in the unit. There's actually a job for this. This is a committee position, but the position title is new member coordinator, and you actually register in that position. It counts as a committee position. The interesting thing about this position, and it's a non-uniformed position. So where the rest of us wear uniforms, like myself as a commissioner, I've got a commissioner's patch that's on. Scoutmaster has a scoutmaster patch. Committee chair has a committee chair patch. Blah blah blah. There's actually not a patch for new member coordinator. They wear regular clothes. Maybe it's your unit's polo shirt, your unit's t-shirt. They actually have new member coordinator type polo shirts and t-shirts to go around. The reason for that is some people coming right into scouting can find the uniform to be imposing, right? There are a lot of things on our uniforms, especially if you've been around for a while. You got all these dingly dangly things coming off of them. You got patches all over your shirt. Oh my goodness, what do they all mean? And it's like looking at a general. It can be intimidating, and they're not sure, if they should, if they can even grace your presence, right? So a new member coordinator is dressed down, more welcoming and approachable. Not that this smiling face isn't approachable, but I can understand how the uniform can be imposing to some people when they're seeing it for the first time. So that new member coordinator is exactly that. They are there to focus on a couple different things. The more new member coordinators you have, the better. So you have some new member coordinators that are focused on ongoing recruitment, right? Um, there's also another one that's here for the new joined members. So it's supposed to be a fun position where they can have fun and build relationships with these families. This is the person that is always touching base with the new families, definitely in that first year. Maybe calling them up and seeing how things are going, making sure that as the scout is engaged in the meeting, that they work their way over to the parent and see how things are going with them to answer any of their questions that have come up, or maybe explain what's going on in a meeting, right? We've all been a part of meetings, right? We're all here, and sometimes it just looks like chaos. Now we also know it's planned chaos. It's hopefully organized chaos, but there are times that from the outside perspective, it could look like chaos. And excuse me, it's great for that new member coordinator to be there explaining what's going on. Yep, right now is the den meeting, and they're doing their pre-opening stuff. They're doing their opening. This is what this time. Maybe at the scout level, they're going off to patrol corners now to work on their patrol stuff. Oh yeah, here's what's going on over in that while they're doing that. So there's a lot of benefit for it, and there's actually specific training for a new member coordinator. And excuse me, there's 3 different trainings depending on the path that they focus on. But of course, our path that we're working on tonight is talking about the families that join the program and how to keep them engaged and involved in the unit. This new member coordinator would also be working along with them to, encourage them to take training and get a little bit more involved in the unit, right? Because again, as we're all aware, the BSA does not stand for Babysitters of America. So the parents need to be engaged and involved. They're here to spend time with their child. So it doesn't matter the program level; they can all be involved in some capacity. But we've got to work on that. The new member coordinator can help on working on that expectation, not hope that they're going to do it. We expect a parent to be involved, or a guardian. We expect them to be involved with the unit. We're kind of moving away from the idea of asking, hey, you don't want to do this. Hey, what can you help out with here? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being part of our unit. What's a good area that you'd like to work in? Don't give them the out on the ask. This is kind of asking with the goal of a yes here, but your new member coordinator can help you work on that. So if you don't have that position, I would strongly encourage you to do it. And this would be some of your more bubbly and energetic people, that definitely are not shy. You do not want the person who is shy or maybe spent a good amount of time as a wallflower. This is the person that has no problem going up to somebody who is a brand new face and, hey, my name's Mark Grant. I didn't recognize you. How are you doing? What are you doing here? They need to be the one who is fun and engaging and not afraid to go approach anybody. So again, this is for the purposes of your charter as well. This is a committee position. So when you're looking at it and you have to have X amount of committee members in your unit, this does count as one of them. It just is the title of the position is not committee member. It's actually titled new member coordinator, and that's how it's registered. So with that, has anyone thought of anything I may have missed about how we make our families feel welcome into the program? Or our scouts, since, you know, we've hit that one, but I'm welcome to hear of anything somebody's thought of in the meantime. No? Okay. If you do, is when we post this stuff up later on, please feel free to share. And if you do come up with good ideas, please put them right up on the water cooler. That's what it's there for, is the water cooler is there to share ideas, you know, best practices, things that, hey, this is a good idea that we've done. Also send us your picture of your activities. We'd like to see what you're doing so that you can brag a little bit about the things that your unit's been doing. Love to have those pictures come up. With that, I am going to end up stopping this recording so we can get around and get over to our other stuff.